Hey, good Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are talking about a pretty active setup today, not just for one place, but for 4 different areas across the country. So here we go. We already have storms firing now. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings already today. Tornadoes and baseball-size hail, that is going to be the biggest threat for today. Now, we could see some strong wind out of this as well, but I do think that that tornado threat and the baseball-size hail are going to be the biggest hazards, mainly down in Texas, but you're going to see it across Florida, the East Coast as well, the Midwest, and the Northern Plains with a hazard for severe storms today. So we've got many places to watch, from the plains all the way to the East Coast. All right, let's get into it. Your 24-hour storm reports here. We saw a pretty good storm on Saturday afternoon across Maryland. That was really good, but this is Sunday that you're looking at. A tornado report here out in West Virginia. A few hailstorms out of this as well, hail in Pennsylvania, and then we also saw that hail down in Texas. So the western side of Texas, southeastern side of New Mexico, I think we got golf balls down there yesterday. That's what our Mets mapped. So yes, it was a fairly active weekend, nothing out of the new or out of the ordinary from what we see this time of the year. All right, taking a look at your current conditions, you've got that rain that's moving into Oklahoma right now. So you've got rain anywhere from the northern side of Texas all the way into Oklahoma. Dallas, it could be a wet lunchtime hour for you. So go ahead, grab that rain jacket as you head out the door. Current conditions out to the east. We've got a low pressure system out there. You're going to see that rotation from that low out on the east coast, and then out to the northwest you can see we've got storms over Montana right now. So here's your current temperatures: 67 in Oklahoma City, 67 in Dallas, and 67 in Kansas City. All of that rain that we saw yesterday, mainly out to the east. Now, do you see this? This is exactly what I was talking about, that rotation. Look at this. Do you see that? One more time. Do you see that circulation from the rain? I love that you can see that even on our 24-hour rainfall totals. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a few minutes, because we could get some more rain and some storms from this low pressure system today. So let's talk about the severe weather breakdown. From the afternoon to the overnight hours, our focus is out in Texas. We could see hail up to about 2 inches in size. Tornado potential. Yes, several tornadoes are also possible here. And that wind up to 70 miles an hour. Now, your next area of focus, that second area, from the afternoon to the late night hours. So right around the same time. Golf ball size hail, the tornado risk in this area, very low, and your wind risk here, a bit higher, up to about 75 miles an hour. I think that wind and golf ball size hail, wind, high wind, large hail, will be your biggest threat out on the East Coast today. What about the afternoon to the late night hours down in Florida? Hail on the smaller size, maybe up to $half size hail. I think that we could see quarters. The tornado risk is pretty low, and your wind up to 60 miles an hour. And last but not least, I know, I told you there was a lot of areas that we were watching for today. Your afternoon to late night storms up in the Dakotas, we're looking for hail up to the size of quarters. I think that this is going to be pocket change hail, where most of these hailstones are smaller than the size of a quarter. We're talking about those nickel, penny, dime size hailstones. The tornado risk, extremely low here. I am not expecting tornadoes in this area. And your wind risk up to 65 miles an hour. So we've got 4 areas that we're watching for today, but really, let's make it really simple. Where are we actually watching for the most impressive storms? Down in Texas. That's number 1. You could see some impressive storms anywhere from Ohio all the way to the Carolinas, and then down in Florida as well. But really, it's those Texas storms that we will be watching for later on this afternoon and into the late night hours tonight. It looks like some of these southern storms, especially if they could stay discreet, could turn into some pretty impressive supercells, and that's where you're going to get your tornado and your largest hail threat, okay? Tomorrow, we have another chance for storms, this time including Dallas. I can see on the chat, okay, I can see the chat over here. I know you can't see it on the screen, but I can see it, so put your comments and your questions in the chat. Mark Anthony is asking, how is Dallas looking? So the best chance for storms in Dallas, that'll be tomorrow. You've got anywhere from Dallas to Houston included in that large hail risk for tomorrow, especially the farther south that you go into Houston. So there's your very quick breakdown. Now let's get to your hazards. We're going to break this down for you hazard by hazard, hail, wind, and tornado in that order. Let's take a look at your significant hail model for today. I mentioned that we could see some hail up to the East Coast and then into Ohio, parts of the Midwest here. But really, watch this. As I play this through, Texas looks the most impressive. What we're watching for here are those deep hues of orange, red, and pink. And there you go. Mainly West Texas, right along the border, is where we are seeing the best chance for large hail. So let's get to your hail trace hail forecast. What is your max forecasted hail size? Up to the size of a baseball today. We actually have storms ongoing right now, but before we get to those storms, I want to get to your hail forecast, and then we'll talk about those storms. Del Rio. There's some models want to put a supercell in this area, or 2 or 3 supercells in this area, that I think will have the best chance for that large hail. So that's why I'm pinpointing Del Rio down in the southern side of Texas for large hail today. Midland, Texas, and Lubbock in the high category to see right around golf ball size hail today. Austin, Dallas, Wichita Falls, Amarillo, your hail sizes are going to be a bit smaller, right around the size of a quarter, maybe up to $0.50, and it's a pretty low chance to see hail there. But again, in Dallas, you're going to have a better chance for hail tomorrow. Moving up to the northeast here, Columbus and Cleveland, storms will start in this area and then they'll track around Columbus and Cleveland, and we'll talk about that and what that looks like for you all in just a few minutes. But I do think that the best chance for larger hail will be in these areas highlighted in orange, up to the size of a golf ball here. And then the farther south and east that you go, I do think that those hail sizes will be smaller, but that you could see a lot of hail from some of these storms. Orlando to Miami, low chance for small hail. I'm not putting anything larger than $0.50 down there. It would greatly surprise me if we got anything larger than $0.50 down in Orlando and Miami. There's your wind forecast for today. You can see some high wind up in Ohio and into portions of Pennsylvania, but for the most part, I think that wind will be anywhere between 65 to 70, maybe 75 miles an hour. And your tornado forecast for today, you can see you've got that great chance for tornado down in Texas. What is going on with my graphic here? Hang on, I can fix this for us. Right here. Well, we don't want to see, look, Tennessee, Kentucky, we love to talk about your weather, but you don't really have anything severe going on today. We want to see Texas, so let's get back down to Texas. Here's your tornado forecast. Lubbock, Midland, Del Rio, Austin, all included in that risk for today. Level 1 for Austin and Lubbock, however, level 2 for Midland and Del Rio. Again, I really do think that this area will be the best chance for not only large hail, but also that tornado risk today. Now let's go, where's my camera going here? Okay, now let's go up to the Midwest and out to the East Coast, from Cleveland to Columbus, and then anywhere from Washington, D.C., all the way down to Raleigh, North Carolina. We have a tornado risk. It's a level 1, so yes, we do have a tornado risk for D.C. today. A good portion of the East Coast included in that risk, and then Columbus and Cleveland also included in that level 1 risk for today. And last but not least, I told you we do have a low risk for tornadoes down in southern Florida. I think it's a pretty low risk, so maybe some isolated tornadoes. Let's get to your timeline here. I kind of mentioned your timeline earlier, so let's take a look at your future radar. This will be from the afternoon to the late night hours, most likely peaking by about 7 o'clock this evening and then starting to decrease in intensity after 7 o'clock. You could still see a few isolated severe thunderstorm warnings until 10, but I think after 10 that risk will go down significantly. So here we are about 3 o'clock this evening. Watch what these storms do. Watch the movement of these storms. We've got a low pressure system here, so these storms are seemingly spinning over here. Do you see that? See how they're like moving, and there you go. You can see it really well right there. Anyway, just watch the storm motion today. They're not going to move like your classic cold front would, you know, where they move straight to the east or maybe even southeast. These storm motions today are going to look a little bit different. Now you go down into Texas, the storm motion down here will take that easterly track. We've got rain ongoing right now, anywhere from southern Oklahoma all the way into Dallas and Houston. But we will start to clear out to the west later on today. Now this heat, you got that sunshine. We call this diurnal heating. So whenever the sun hits the ground and it warms us up from the surface, okay, that makes really, really good conditions for storm development. You have that heat at the surface and then it rises, and you guys know the idea here, what rises must also fall back down, and that in the form of a storm. So we've got that chance for tornadoes and large hail in Lubbock. You're going to see a line of storms unzip down to the south here, especially as we go into the late night hours. So while you do have a risk in the afternoon, you will also have a risk through the overnight hours tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So these could be nocturnal storms, nocturnal tornadoes through the overnight hours tonight. That means that it's a tornado while it's dark. It's hard to see it coming. So just keep an eye out for that. And there's your risk for today. Now for tomorrow, we have another chance for storms. You can see that highlighted here in orange. We can see some large hail anywhere from Dallas all the way down to Houston. The largest hail closer to Houston and Austin. We've got another small chance for storms up near New York tomorrow. However, I think that most of those will stay non-severe. By the time we get to Wednesday, we don't have storm risk yet. However, I would keep an eye on your chance through the end of the week because we are in that time of year where we could see a chance for storms any day. It's the middle of May, right? Or it's the very beginning of May. We are approaching peak severe weather season. So we'll be tracking it for you. If there are any questions that I haven't already answered in the comments section, I'll make sure that I get back to those. I'll go and I'll comment on that question, especially on Facebook. I'm really good about getting back to answer your questions within about the next hour. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can even head over to our website for more information, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow at noon for your next forecast.